So we are back to the ruins of the West, and today I'm going to talk about their different character roles. In ReconQuest, the demi-human races are also character roles. That is, Dwarf is in itself a character role, Elf is in itself a character role, and Halfling is in itself a character role. Humans, on the other hand, can pick between 5 different character roles. And that would be a Bard, a Ranger, Sorcerer, Thief and Warrior. And today I'm going to talk about one of these character roles, namely the Dwarf. And I'll read the introduction first. Dwarves, also called Dark Elves, are characterized by their short, stout stature, their toughness and their great endurance. They usually have long beards and are known for their skill in mining, metalworking and craftsmanship. They often live in mountainous or underground settlements where they build impressive fortresses and craft beautiful items and forge weapons and armor. They are typically brave, honorable and stubborn, with a strong sense of loyalty to their kin. That will be the introduction to the dwarf. In game terms, the dwarf has night vision and can see 100 feet even in pitch black darkness. If a dwarf is intelligent and has a very strong will, he is also able to learn a spell every second time he levels up. If he later on gets the necessary intelligence and willpower, he will gain this ability from that point on. Dwarves can sense mechanical devices when within 60 feet of them. That's a 50% chance. They also know approximate depth when underground. Dwarves are afraid of open water and must test their willpower and achieve at least a semi-success to be allowed to enter the sea, lakes or rivers too deep to be waded through and not covered with ice, even if they do it in a boat or a ship. A dwarf can speak the dwarven language called Echo and the normal common tongue Thulian. They have special training in disarming traps, in spotting traps and using or identifying magic items. So in this sense they differ from dwarves from several other RPGs. Because of their short stature, they will always suffer a +8 adjustment, which is a bad thing, by the way, because you aim to roll low. They suffer a +8 adjustment to the die when testing swimming and riding a horse. Not if riding a pony, though. And their base movement rate is only 25 feet. That would be how far they can walk in 5 seconds. Because of innate talent, a dwarf enjoys a -4 adjustment to the die when trying to repair or build items, and when pathfinding and foraging or looking for a shelter in mountainous or underground terrain. A dwarf enjoys a reduced movement point cost when traveling in hill and mountain terrain as well as underground. And here you can see how they level up. As you see, they can level up to level 13 if they have a willpower of 20 or more. They can get a spell every second level, and they gain some ability score adjustments as they level up. When they reach level 12, a dwarf will attract a number of followers equal to 1/4 of his willpower. The more willful a dwarf is, the more followers he gets. As you can tell from this chart, a dwarf enjoys a pretty significant bonus to their constitution roll and willpower, but they get a -1 on dexterity and -2 to their charisma. They're not very charismatic. Maximum age is pretty high, and they are small. There you can tell their height in inches, in their weight in pounds, and their starting age. And the dwarfs in ReconQuest are pale, or they have ashen skin, black, brown, red or grey hair, and their eyes come in all colours. The basis for the dwarf in ReconQuest is not only the AD&D dwarf or the Tolkien dwarf, but first and foremost the mythological dwarf. That would be the dwarf as described in our mythology. In Thule, the known dwarfs live in a place called Nidavellir. And they have lived underground there for a long time. They have waited there for thousands of years, under the glaciers, for the ice age to end, and for the land above them to clear. They survived by eating mainly blind fish and cave fungi, and in about the same time as the Thulians started to return home to their once cleared land, when the ice retracted, a group of dwarfs left their abodes just southwest of what is today Norvik. They, about 600 dwarfs in all, came to terms with the returning Thulians, and for a fee... Oh, I skipped the page, sorry. And for a fee helped them build the town of Narvik. They have several mines and industry under the mountains to the southwest of Narvik. That would be there. That's Narvik. Their realm originally stretched out all under Thule, but the melting glaciers filled many of their tunnels and others collapsed under the pressure. So the dwarfs emerging near Narvik are only some of the dwarfs in Thule. The others probably live still underground in the wild north. And the wild north is the unexplored area that the Game Master is supposed to fill out himself. The dwarfs near Narvik are ruled by King Nor Jarnhelm and his clan, and the town of Narvik is named after him, because he helped them build it. The generic dwarf, if you encounter one, wears a heavy armor, a helmet, and carries a small shield, a dagger, a short spear, a hammer, a pickaxe, or that would be, they carry a short spear, or a hammer, or a pickaxe, or a warhammer, and so, 1/3 of the time they also carry a crossbow with 2d6 bolts. Everything of dwarven make. The dwarves are also called dvergar, singular is dverger, and dyrjor, singular is dyrjor for females, and dark elves. And they were originally worm-like creatures crawling about in Ymir's rotting body. But the deities changed them and made them human-like. After the metamorphosis, they were sexless immortals. But because they had been changed by the deities, and because they were unable to reproduce themselves, they hid in the depths of the earth and crafted their wives for themselves. This enabled them to reproduce, but at a cost. They still have very long lives, but they lost their immortality, and now live on average to about 450 years, but are known to have lived up to 630 years. The deities changed them for a purpose, to make them serve the deities as master craftsmen, but their stubbornness and greed made them a difficult species to control. Dwarfs are secretive, reclusive, and possessive of their valuables. Their interaction with other beings are generally marked by a mix of trade, grudging respect, and occasional conflict. When they can, they serve no deities and instead focus on mining the mountains of Thule for gems and precious metals for their own benefit. So there you have it, the dwarfs in ReconQuest. Both the dwarf as a race, a playable character role, and as a generic creature in the world of Thule. Thank you for watching.